All right. All right, good morning. Welcome to Northampton County's General Purpose Authority meeting Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. Sarah, would you please take roll?
Mr. Anthony,
I'm here.
Mr. Dertinger,
Here.
Ms. Pearson,
Here.
Mr. Kraft,
Here.
Ms. Hefner,
Here.
Mr. Donchez,
Here.
and Mr. Colondo is excused. We have Ricky Santee in for Solicitor Kelhart today, and then myself, Tina, and Dawn from staff.
All right, thank you. And we do have a quorum.
We do.
In your meeting packet was the meeting minutes from the April 1st meeting. I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Thank you, Charles. A second.
I'll second. This is Pam.
All right, thank you, Pam. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Any public comment?
There is none.
All right, thank you. KIZ is not here for their presentation, so Ron, you're up. Treasurer's report, please.
Okay, you should have in front of you the year-to-date as of April 30th, 2025. The first is the balance sheet. We're showing cash and cash equivalents of $1,037,123.73. Total assets of $1,411,595.94. Less our liabilities, we had a beginning fund balance of $1,092,000 and change. Less our year-to-date loss at this point shows a pending balance, which will show on the income statement in a second, of a fund balance of $1,061,595.94. Next, we go to the general fund account. Year-to-date as of April 30th, 2025, we're showing revenues of $1,613.66. Our interest year-to-date expenses, we showed $32,203.95, which shows the net year-to-date of a negative $30,590.29. And then the last is our GPA capital budget project fund, and that's the flow-through account. Year-to-date revenues of $126,848.89, and the same as the expenditure shows a net of $0. Any questions?
All right, thank you, Ron. Need a motion to approve.
Sure thing.
I'll make that motion.
I'll make the motion.
Ken made the motion. I need a second.
Second.
Lori?
Thank you, Lori, for seconding that. All right, motion. Any questions on the motion? All right, seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Just,
Invoices for payment, please.
I guess KIZ presenters were not being let in by the staff downstairs, so Tina went to save them, so they will be here. But we can review the invoices for payment.
All right, please.
And just to note, there was a late addition, since I sent out the packet on Friday. An additional Norfolk Southern invoice was added. So we have Alfred Benish and Company for $2,316.44. Total Norfolk Southern, $1,842.77. And then PPL for $31,125.45. For a total of $35,284.66, and all the copies of the invoices were provided.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve.
So moved. This
I'll
is
make the
Pam.
motion.
All right, Pam, I heard you jump in there. Ron, was that a second?
That's the second.
Thank you, Ron. All right, any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then also in our packet is invoices paid to date, and that's just informational only. All right, Greg, bridge update.
Maybe we should have waited to pay Benish before we got this update.
He said maybe we should wait to pay Benish until we get this update.
Good morning, everybody. All right, so start off with where we were from the last meeting. So on Bridge 124, the permanent line painting was completed on April 15th. We made 4 additional visits to verify the remaining punch list items. As of April 25th, there were only 2 items remaining, and those 2 are that basically waiting for the grass to grow around the bridge and for all the utility poles to be moved. I've been reaching out to Verizon trying to get an update. I have not heard back yet. I visited the site yesterday, and they're still in place. So that's the last 2 items, both of them out of Krieger's control right now.
Right, so once the temporary pole is removed, Krieger has no other work there,
That's correct, yes. Yep,
so we can say that bridge is completed.
yes, yep.
you.
So jumping to Bridge 101, on April 14th, the milling and paving of Hanover Road was completed. We were in attendance along with the flaggers from R&R Construction and AECom representing the railroad. The following items were completed. Prior to that date, the placement of riprap, we verified in the field, the guide rail, and the line painting was completed on April 15th. So on April 16th, the project was accepted and closed by Norfolk Southern. We did a final walkthrough at the site, myself and Krieger and Mike from the county on April 21st, and substantial completion was given on April 23rd. There were 11 punch list items sent out to Krieger the same day, and I went out to the field yesterday to verify those. There are 3 punch list items remaining. One is a hazard sign on the eastern approach of the bridge. There's some pavement markings that were not completed, and the compost filter sock to be removed. Same thing, the grass has to grow. So really, there's 2 items for Krieger remaining on this. As of our call yesterday, both of them will be completed by end of the week.
Well, that's weather permitting, I'm assuming, right?
Weather permitting, yes. Yeah, especially for line painting, yes.
All right,
And then jumping to Bridge 41, there were, as of back in February, there were 6 punch list items remaining. We performed inspection on April 10th, and they said there were some additional items that needed to be completed. As of yesterday, there's only 1 remaining, and that's to work with the property owner to resolve any issues that are, any concerns that had to be addressed. I spoke with the property owner last week to try and get this resolved, and as of last week, it appears that it is going to get resolved. Krieger's working on it as we speak to plant some trees for the property owner and to get it formally completed. Their goal is to have it this week, but it could be next week, they said at our status meeting yesterday.
all right, so on 41, it's just to supply and plant some trees.
That's correct, yes. Everything else is completed. Jumping down to Bridge 54, I am still trying to coordinate with utilities, and Med Ed asked to reach out to Frontier. I've reached out to Frontier. I'm waiting to hear back about, they need to move a pole so that Med Ed can move a guy wire. So we're still in limbo on Bridge 54, and that is the only thing remaining there.
So again, Krieger's finished at that bridge.
That's correct, yes. As far as the maintenance items, I am aware of work was done at Bridge 195, and besides that, there's been no other action on any of the maintenance items.
I'm sorry, what was going on at 195? I might have missed that one.
It was in the list on the 3rd bullet. Yeah, it was on a list of some minor items to be completed, and they
Okay.
completed those because they were out at the site there.
Yep, I do see that, thank you.
Yep, they said they'll give us more, an update our next status meeting on when these will get completed, but they're hoping to work on it in a relative near. And that's all I have for my report.
Any questions for Greg?
Have they submitted the request for payment?
Yes, they have.
Well, Charles, they haven't finished the project yet, so I see no reason to pay. That's what you're asking.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was asking. Are we planning to have an executive session?
I don't see a need to have an executive session. Couple items for them to finish, and once they finish, then they can submit payment, I guess, or. Charles, they're so close,
I'm-
we'll just,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you. They can wait a month. If they can get this done in a month, it's not a big deal.
No.
Yeah. And they wouldn't even have to sign to file anything.
I get it.
And they were supposed to be done last year. So,
We're- I'm just hoping for a month of good weather.
well, you know, you could put a sign in the ground without, and some of these other punch list items can be accomplished irrespective of the weather.
Yeah, really, I think there's three. The sign,
Well, no,
Some pavement
yeah, but they're
markings?
also, and, yeah, I agree with you.
right, there's three small
And
items.
all of these things could have been accomplished with the good weather that they've had. The sign could have gone up long before painting and so on was done. Yeah,
All right, well, the hope is they have three items to complete by next meeting, our next meeting.
well, they also have the maintenance items that have been out and looming for a while as well, that they've been pushing down the road.
Do we need a
Greg, what was
motion?
the, I'm sorry, I was asking Greg a question. Do we have a timeline on how long these maintenance items have been open?
I went out with Krieger to the site on November 6th, 2024. So they've been open since then.
So 5-6 months,
Correct.
which they would have had time to get most of those things done. All right, yeah, I don't imagine we need a motion as no action's being taken.
Right, there is no action being taken. We're just waiting for Krieger to take some action.
So that we can make a motion,
Right,
which I would very happily make if they could get us over this hump.
I was gonna make a motion to take no action, but if we don't do that, then we don't need any motion.
Yeah.
I just thought if you needed
I would think-
something on the record
I would
stating
think-
that, I would
Yeah.
take that motion.
all right, we finished, Greg's up here sweating. I know you can't see him.
Thank you, Greg, as
Yeah.
always, thank you.
No problem. Thanks a
All
lot.
right, thank you, Greg.
Manhattan.
All right, there is no executive session needed. Any new business?
I don't have any.
All right, next meeting is Tuesday, June 3rd here.
Wait,
Huh?
Yes.
I'm getting, our next, I didn't call for the last one. Next meeting is Tuesday, June 3rd, 8:15 here in the chamber. All right, so we have, the KIZ is here.
Yes, so we have Sean Ziller and Alex Miller. I like how your last names rhyme. From the Bethlehem Economic Development Corporation to give a presentation for the Southside Bethlehem KIZ. So, yeah, unfortunately, IT was having some problems, so,
No problem, no problem. So,
but everyone has a copy.
great. You can just say next slide. Yeah. So good morning. My name is Sean Ziller. I am the Deputy Director of Economic Development for the City of Bethlehem. I am also the Executive Director of Bethlehem Economic Development Corporation, or BEDCO. I'm here with my colleague Alex Miller to talk about the kind of progress we've made with the South Bethlehem KIZ. I know the GPA has previously been a contributor to this program, and we're really looking forward to coming here today to speak with you about the progress we've made and kind of, since Alex and I have come on board, the future of this program. So with that, I'll tee it off to Alex. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alex Miller. I'm the Economic Development Coordinator. I work for Sean at the city.
Morning.
So on the first slide, the basics is just a brief overview. If anyone's unfamiliar with the KIZ, it was created in the Rendell administration to address lack of entrepreneurship, new business creation, and intellectual property development in certain clusters around urban centers that also had educational institutions. So Southside Bethlehem in 2004 received KIZ designation, and we have a board of private, public, and educational stakeholders who sort of govern our budget and then make recommendations as to how we grant and use funds, ultimately that go to BEDCO for consideration and approval. So again, it's the fact that we have Lehigh, NCC on the south side, as well as our health networks, and then a few other major employers in the area that sit on the board and sort of oversee our activities. I'm sort of the KIZ coordinator with respect to the state, as this was a PADCED initiative. So I administer sort of the clerical pieces of the zone and help companies to determine if they're eligible to receive funding. So on the next slide, again, it's a state program, eligibility for the KIZ. This is targeted to startup businesses that are within the KIZ in the geography of the zone, which I have in a later slide. These are new businesses that are younger than 8 years old, and they're in key industries that align with now Governor Shapiro's PA Gets It Done economic development plan. So we're targeting advanced manufacturing, life sciences, either product companies or software as a service companies that are developing and delivering new intellectual property to the market. On the next slide, we have grants and benefits. We originally, in 2004, the state backed this program directly with funding. Since then, we've been collecting from our primary partners like you and administering those funds with the help of the advisory board. So we have our tech transfer grants, which serve as a very critical way for our small businesses to get off the ground, especially when developing inventory or hiring independent contractors to build out their marketing, build out their websites, work on web development or code development, for example. We have an internship program, which is small but definitely growing. We can place students, undergrads or graduates from our local institutions, again, such as Lehigh, NCC, DeSales, Moravian, Muhlenberg, with our KIZ eligible companies, and we can reimburse their pay. We've had a lot of successes. One of our recent graduates from the KIZ zone brought on a former intern as the COO of their company. So again, another source of funding available to these small businesses, most of which are sole proprietors when they start. The tax credits are the main piece that come from the state. So they the companies in our zone file annual reports with the state for tax credits that are calculated based on the year-over-year change in their revenue. So our companies are eligible for up to $100,000 per year. We're happy to see that we had 7 companies that applied last year and were just granted awards on April 30th. And then last, we have a partnership with NCC with their Fab Lab. So if a company needs to prototype a product or just get into sort of a maker space where they can work out packaging or 3D printing, any of that sort of thing, BEDCO and the KIZ Advisory Board automatically reimburse those costs. So again, giving access to these small companies that might not have the capital to get off the ground. The next slide is the geography of the zone. Again, we refer to it as a knowledge neighborhood. So we have Ben Franklin up on the hill where a lot of our companies have spaces. Of course, we have the colleges and universities. We have the SBDC who are able to refer startups who come to the city. We're able to point them to the SBDC if they need help, writing a business plan, seeking out alternative sources of funding beyond the KIZ funds. And then, of course, as you can see, we have our PI facility. If you're not familiar, PI is an 8-suite business incubator that BEDCO manages. So we sublease suites and mailboxes to startup companies in the KIZ who are eligible for the KIZ, so that, again, it's just a low-cost space for our companies to have offices in. We have the sort of wonder child of the KIZ, Soltech, has space there. They won a USSBA award a few years back, and we're pleased to welcome the governor last year for a visit. So again, trying to create a wraparound of services for a lot of times graduates out of Lehigh's master's programs or, Lehigh professors, other folks like that who, have a great idea, want to commercialize it, but don't know where to go. On the 4 key figures slide next, as you can see, we funded around 200 internships. Our tech transfer grants, we've awarded $1.5 million since 2004. The KIZ tax credit program, which again is state-run, but we help to administer, has provided more than $9 million in tax credits, and we've served approximately 120 businesses. We're enrolling about 6 per year now, depending on the year. Obviously, 2020, 2021 we're a bit lower, but we're up and running. We've enrolled a couple of new businesses from Lehigh, and so we're excited that we sort of have this reserve to help out companies. Recent highlights, Mesomatic is a company that occupies a suite in our Pi facility and was a graduate of the Lehigh TE program. She was just invited onto an Amazon Prime Original series to pitch her product. Lord & Lily is a serum company that just announced a partnership with St. Luke's thanks to our tech transfer grant. She was able to buy the inventory and complete the marketing she needed to expand her product line and launch in the local health network. I mentioned Soltech. Governor Shapiro came for a visit last year to promote small business and entrepreneurship in our Pi facility. And our latest enrollee in the KIZ is Seagal Technologies, who we've just enrolled, who also just found a space in the Pi facility. She's a Lehigh professor. The founder is a Lehigh professor. She didn't have a space, wasn't, of course, able to run her business out of her office at Lehigh, but we were able to get her a lease, and subsequently she was able to be eligible for an NSF award. So we're very excited to enroll her and bring her company, which works in underwater communications, into the Pi community. So shifting to what we want to do moving forward, obviously, industry makeup's a big deal. When KIZ passed, 2004 was a very different economic climate. We're seeing mostly technology companies that are enrolling now, a few product companies, as I said, but again, we're now shifting towards those sole proprietors who might be, someone with a laptop who just needs a desk and maybe needs some interns, but ultimately isn't going to bring in 10 manufacturing employees. So when we're thinking about, what KIZ is geared towards, job creation and also promoting new business activity, we sort of need to rebalance how we think about grants, especially, internships. A lot of companies are leaning on those, as it might just be one guy, like I said, one lady just working on a computer. And then the other piece is looking at new programming, so inventory financing. With the borrowing climate the way it is, we've had a couple companies approach us about low-interest loans. So we're looking to launch that hopefully this year, a small pool of funding to create an inventory financing, basically revolving loan fund for our KIZ companies to be able to sort of, buy inventory in advance and then, complete their orders and replenish their stock. Last but not least, as Sean mentioned, he and I both joined the city and the KIZ in the last year, so reestablishing relationships with our partners like the NCC Fab Lab and other people on our board has been critical for understanding how to serve our companies best. So the final slide is just our budget for the year. The third column is how much we've committed in new grants, and then our expenditures are mostly carryover from previous grant awards, which were made by the KIZ Advisory Board. Northampton County has Marek, who sits on our board, and it makes those advisory decisions. So again, the county's been a great partner in helping our businesses, providing advice in the sessions where they come to present for funding. And so we're requesting $20,000 in primary partner funding. Previous years, I know for several years, we requested and received $40,000. During the pandemic, I know things were paused, but we're looking for 20, not because we're looking to expand the KIZ by any means, but we just, we want to maintain it in an era of uncertainty from, funding, especially at our primary partners in higher education, we want to make sure we have some reserve to be able to support the businesses that are coming out of our local colleges and universities. And that's all I had, so if there are any questions about our request.
Any questions for Alex? All right, Alex, thanks.
All right. Thank you.
So regarding their requests, do we want to consider?
All right, to the authority, you've heard Alex's report, and they're requesting 20,000. Any comments?
This is Pam. My question actually is for Ron. You know, if we were going to move forward with this, where from the budget would it come from? Would it come from the GPA budget?
Yes.
I would believe so, and I could probably get that confirmed, but
Ron, yes, it would come from the GPA's budget.
I would only suggest that if we were going to take this up, we should take it up next month. Have it on the agenda and address it from there.
I support that.
I agree with Charles.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, sounds like there's consensus. All right. Since I already went through everything else, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. All right. Hey, have a good day. Thanks.
Have a good month, everyone.
Good day,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.